There you go. Hi everyone, this is AG. This
I'm
is
IJ.
So we took a week break off because
Illness, stress. I work at a school district, and to date the school year just ended,
mhm.
and summer is beginning, which you would think wouldn't mean that I wouldn't be working, but you'd be wrong.
Either way, we took a week off because not only us but our editor had stuff to do, and
Yeah, we were all last week was stressful and work laden for all of us.
I made a video, but I don't think I uploaded it of what went on at E3. I think I got a lot of stuff wrong, so I just didn't upload it. I might though,
You
and
should
put
make a
like
new
corrections.
one and
Yeah. Either way, like I was gonna put something out last week, but I just ended up not doing it.
uh,
But
it happens.
we're gonna be talking about actually 6 episodes today because episode 61 is the end of this over arc.
And it's the finale.
Yeah,
So
and so it well technically half of the episode was the finale. So
yeah, the last half, which was actually the good half of it.
I don't know. There's something to be said of like, hey, we've been gone for a week. Let's just add one more episode since it's gonna be the end of the arc.
And
Um,
that gives us more time to talk about the OVAs in the next one.
yeah. Who knows? We might not actually be able to do the OVAs because we can't seem to find them anywhere. But
If we can't and we try to watch them legally and they're just not allowing us to,
oh well.
we're going to have to either go to the dark option or we're just gonna have to not watch them.
So
And if they're good, I want to watch them.
So I got 5 minutes into the episode when I actually looked up and said, "Oh yeah, I haven't actually taken any notes."
But it wasn't because they were fun or interesting. It was the opposite reason.
It was
Because
kind
your
of boring
brain was
because
melting.
most of it was recapping the episodes, talking about some stuff, and I noticed this throughout the entire thing. And I'm gonna bring it back up in the end, but this was a boring arc. It wasn't bad. It was just
like my
poorly
notes.
paced.
It's like, oh, the Marines. Oh no, will Luffy survive? Sean, is Luffy going to live through this filler arc that doesn't exist in the manga?
Like,
I think he died. I think he died in this arc. I think that they were able
Well,
to kill him off. And Zoro's the new captain.
The Marines found the dragon, so they've got to get him out of there. So,
Cue the Benny Hill music.
yeah. So they basically just build a.
They used wacky carnival music set to their deforestation of the area.
So they cut down a bunch of trees, made a cart, put the dragon on the cart, rolled it down the hill.
I also put yes.
So they can
Luffy,
get it to
this
the
is correct.
ship.
Dragons are cool. Even this one that doesn't do anything.
Meanwhile, at the ship, you have Usopp and I think Sanji was there. Yeah, it was either Sanji or was Nami, but I think Nami was actually in the cart with the dragon. They're trying to get the ship into formation.
I think it was Sanji and Zoro.
No, it wasn't Zoro.
It was Zoro and Usopp that went down to the ship, and Sanji stayed with Luffy, Apis, and Nami.
Yeah, so they're going down there, and we see a part of the ship we don't usually see in the manga, which is the actual like rudder.
That thing
To
takes
steer the
so
ship.
much damage in this series.
Yeah.
If there's anything besides the mast that takes the most damage, it's that joystick that they use as the rudder.
Which is also Mary's head.
Hey, go big or go home, I guess.
But we then actually see what Eric's ability, the guy with the really dumb glasses that we...
The sicko fruit.
Yeah, so his hands are, quote, sickles. But what he means by that is that he moves his hand and he basically cuts the air so hard that it actually pushed the air forward, creating whirlwinds. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. We don't usually see wind-based powers in it, besides this guy and Smoker. Not really.
I miss Smoker.
Smoker will show up a lot. but, they need to get to the ship, so... No, yeah, it was Sanji on it, because he says that they shall shoot like a love catapult.
Oh, yeah.
They go through over half the episode,
Sanji's
and they're still rolling down that hill.
Demeanor changes instantly whenever Nami's in the premises. Like, he's perfectly cool and rational and fine, but the instant that you stick the red head there, he's like, he freaks out.
Yeah,
it's just so wacky, and I should hate it because it should be like so old hat at this point, but I'm still just endeared by it. It's like, Sanji loves Nami. I can ship him.
We get to the point in which all of them get onto the ship and they go sailing off. End of the episode, and you think about it and you go, that was it? They really spent an entire episode just rolling down the hill reusing footage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Stock
okay.
animation, in fact, of them rolling down the same part of the hill.
Then we get to episode 57, in which they go to dangerous lengths to go down the hill.
You mean they just keep rolling down the hill and a tree accidentally clotheslines Luffy?
Yes. Also,
I love that. He was like looking up and he was like, boom, and it just knocked his head like a mile back. Just like, ah! And he just whipped his head back and he's completely fine afterwards. I'm like,
But it isn't until this episode that I realize something really aggravating about Eric's design. His glasses are actually like 2 inches off of his face. It's like this, and there's like gunk. It's like, what? Why? It's like, why are they so far off of your face? So they keep sailing, and we hit what looks like a shattering mirage as they just sink into like what looks like a reflective cloud bank.
But
into a
AJ, you forgot the most important part of the story. How Eric's a traitor. Who saw that one coming?
Actually kind of no one, because he isn't a traitor. Just the Commodore thinks that he's a traitor, so he's not gonna share.
Well, he's gonna take the Dragonite for himself is the point.
Well, yeah, they were both going to take the Dragonite for themselves. So is it really being a traitor if they both knew that they wanted it for themselves?
I'm just saying he was paid to bring it to the Marines, and he's not going to do it. He's basically going back on his deal.
So, so you have one island shaped like a boat, and they left that island to go to an island that is shaped like a dragon. Ironically, this is not the island they were looking for. Instead, this appears to be
Wacky Coincidence Island.
It's the island in which the Apis' people used to live on before it got destroyed. So it's like, okay.
Probably from people trying to get the Dragonite.
Yeah, and these tiny bird lizards are flying around everywhere. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Kind of look like the big dragons. Are these the baby dragons? Because I doubt that they're the baby dragons.
No, I was thinking that at first, but then you can clearly see that they're just colored birds.
Yeah. It's like birds that oddly just look like the dragons.
They're cool. They're a cool aesthetic. They're completely wasted on this mini-arc, by the way. Much of this lore is wasted on this mini-arc.
So, Apis takes out this little dragon talon-shaped key, puts it into the place where it's supposed to, and then the ground falls. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, actually, no. She's too short, so Luffy has to do it.
Mm-hmm. And then they look up at the ceiling, and there's this big mural to the dragons. It's like, well, that's cryptic. End of episode. And I go, wait, it's already been an hour? And I look, and it's like, that should have been one episode. And I think this arc has a problem with pacing, and it really does feel like it was written by the anime people. Much of these arcs
have an issue with pacing. It's just more evident in a filler arc where
you can tell what is a filler arc and what is not by how it's paced. Oda has a very distinct way of writing in which he only puts on screen what is important, and it does kind of feel like that when a character is basically standing there looking out at the sea, reiterating everything that's happened so far. It really feels like that is not Oda that wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you actually yawning, or was that
I
for
was
a gag?
actually yawning.
Okay.
I can't yawn for a gag. My body won't do it.
Also, it was this episode that I realized that Nami doesn't actually use honorifics for Zoro. She uses it for every other character except for Zoro.
Because he owes her money.
I guess you're right.
I mean, Sanji and Usopp don't owe her money, and Luffy's the captain.
Episode 56.
Oh, wait, there's something else I had to talk about. Oh, I'm on the wrong episode. Okay. So, what I have to talk about is that actually the coolest part of this whole arc is when they're looking up and there's this massive ceiling mural, and I was like, that's the coolest thing we've seen so far. Is it finally going to get awesome? And I'm like, that was just the coolest thing of the episode, and they just broke up the tension and any semblance of interest.
The episode should have started with them finding the island. Like, if they were to... Okay, so I was talking with IJ right before this.
Yeah, they completely could have
cut
cut out
that
half
they
of
could
the
have shortened it to 4 episodes, maybe 3 episodes if they actually, like, streamline the plot. But it does kind of feel like that they didn't, because they were, filler arcs are designed to stall for time. So you have these moments in anime where you go, hey, we need the actual manga to finish up with the arc that they're working on so we could do this. This happens a lot, especially with Alabasta, because in the Japanese side of this, they had just gotten to actual Alabasta, the island that the arc is named after, when they reached this island. So, when they reached Lowtown in the actual anime, so they added the 2 buggy episodes. They added the filler episodes while they're on Lowtown to explain some things. They added in this whole thing, and then they took a several-week hiatus so they can start when the final battle of Alabasta was actually starting.
Let me check something. But, so, I have 2 notes here. It's, Sanji encapsulates my whole thinking for this whole arc. You can't be serious. Are his exact words, and I'm like, you're right, Sanji. You're absolutely right. I can't believe any of this stuff is happening. It's contrived.
You know what's a bad, well, you know what's a slow episode when the name of the episode is in the same frame of my notes, in which you can see the metal.
Yeah.
Because it means that there was such nothing that you...
Okay.
That there wasn't that much to talk
I just checked. Okay.
What?
So, we won't get into details of any kind. So, where the anime of One Piece is right now is halfway through the previous arc, and we're almost halfway through the current arc. If we'll be going by the 15 chapters that were in the current arc.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a small mini arc.
Names.
Supposed to be a small mini arc as Oda finalizes
with no Luffy, apparently.
Yeah. This
if
is
that
supposed
dates
to be,
where we are,
but it's also supposed to be an arc about a lot of world building
and
that
Luffy's
is
name is
sorely needed in the series since he has taken such a long break.
And Luffy's name has been dropped 5 times. His face has been shown, but he is not.
He might
there.
as well be there.
Yeah. Well, he's there in spirit with the girls,
And Hat.
He's with his girls and Hat Seth over there.
So I would say that when it comes down to it, I really do feel like that when it comes to the actual pacing of the episodes, they could have probably shortened it to about 4 episodes.
You know that whole scene with them rolling down the mountain?
That could have been
like a minute of the episode.
Actually, there were some stuff that actually happened there. They could have probably reduced it to about 10 minutes.
I'm saying any shot of them physically rolling down the mountain.
And the other half of the episode could be them finding the island, and then it cuts there. Like, stuff like that. Maybe the
Which, it was a cool shot of Luffy, like, looking at it and seeing a boat. It's like, I'm like, did they turn themselves around? But it's like, and Luffy's, like, looking at it and I realize, no, that's
just a
the
mirage.
Mirage!
Stop!
I can't, oh no, it's not in this episode.
So, they're trying to figure out what the mural is
episode.
in episode 58. And they start looking at all the images, and they find the part of the ceiling that they knocked out as they were falling. And it's got like a little dragon on it.
Yeah, I forgot how that crashed to the ground. I thought it would sustain damage throughout the centuries.
No, it's because they fell through it, and I basically sit there, and all I could think of is, it looks like Luffy drew this. Because, like, not to, like, knock on ancient cultures and their art styles,
but Luffy can't draw.
Luffy, it looks like something Luffy would have drawn.
And we've seen him draw stuff. It's about comparable. It's just got more color and more constant shading.
Yeah. 10 minutes in, and finally something happens.
Luffy rubs two brain cells together and finds out that they have to go back. I even have it in my notes, like, this is exactly what I was thinking.
So Eric shows up, and Zoro's like, here, I will stop him. You roll down the hill again so you can get back to the boat so we can go back to Warship Island.
Like, we can't pronounce
Warship.
You sound like it's an O. Cause
Warship. Like warship.
I can't pronounce it either. I tried and I completely
like
failed.
Worship, but it's Warship Island. It's supposed to be a pun.
What?
Yeah, because the island is there, and the place that they are currently on is the place that they worship, the dragons. And so that Warship Island is where they worship the dragons.
I can't believe I didn't read it. It must have been that my brain was turned to mush.
Maybe I'm looking a little bit too hard into that, but oh well.
Well, it fits, but it's also that we can't pronounce the AR sound very well.
So roughly around roughly half of episode 58 is also rolling down a hill.
Also, I liked how Katetsu probably sensed Eric first. He's like, it's a fight. It's a fight. Zoro, it's a fight. It's a fight. It's a fight.
So they start rolling down the hill, and then Eric just walks past Zoro. I was like, hey, you can't run away from me. I think he just did Zoro.
Twice, in fact. He does it twice.
The second time he pulls out some pocket sand to throw into his face, and it's like, oh, okay.
Which is terrible move, but he's a mercenary. He's not gonna fight honorably.
So they finally get back to the ship,
Wilson didn't order
and
that kind
Zoro goes,
mercenary.
well, I'm getting kind of tired of this, as Luffy grabs the back of his jacket and pulls him all the way back down to the ship.
He tags Zoro out, literally. And does this gag continue throughout the rest of the story?
It continues a few times.
Oh. Because I can't remember the last time Luffy had to pull Zoro away from anything.
Okay, so they leave this island to literally just go back to Warship, if it was actually pronounced like an A, like you're thinking, it would be Warship. It's war because it's a long A.
Yeah.
Warship.
Vowels are hard, especially with R's next to them. Mm-hmm. We don't do R's very well, the two of us.
The Commodore's ship shows up, and he creates a blockade. Something that you don't usually see in One Piece. An actual military strategy.
Let alone from the filler arc.
Yeah. But then...
It's called the Chain Wings Formation, by the way. I can't believe I wrote that down.
Yeah, that's actually what they call it. But, it's a blockade.
Mm-hmm.
They made it so that you can't go through.
Also, Gum Gum Lasso was used. Has that been used before?
Yes, but what hasn't been used in the next episode is Gum Gum Bridge. Like, that, it's basically Luffy grabs on the one thing, and he takes people with him over to that place. He does that because I don't think so.
It's absolutely a very good tactic for him to use, especially when we've got all other devil fruit users. He's also going to have to lug around with him.
So we get to a situation where they need to get rid of the blockade. So Luffy
and Apis keeps getting in the way.
So Zoro and Sanji go with him using the Gum Gum Bridge to those ships so they can cut the... So Zoro can samurai cut the chains that are holding them together so they can actually go through. It worked pretty well.
Gum Gum Balloon has also been used, right?
Yes. And if they haven't, they use it now. But officially, I believe the first time... I think the first time that he might actually use it is during episode 61. I need to look back and do my notes and see what's up. Oh, my leg fell asleep.
Oh no.
We also see Gum Gum's slingshot, which he grabs a bunch of people in his arms and then basically sends them off.
I like Zoro's line of, "There's nothing I can't cut." And it's like, I'm pretty sure there are things.
Okay, point it straight down. Let's see how the Earth's how
the Earth would give way before Zoro's sword gave way.
Maybe.
Like he would just keep cutting.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool to see him actually cut the chains like they were butter.
Meanwhile, Apis is trying to get the dragon to talk.
In the way.
But, you know, but then Eric shows up, cuts the ropes from the ship, and takes both Apis and
Dragon, Ryu.
And Ryu off, and it's like, don't do anything or else I'll literally destroy that ship. Okay. This is it going on. And Apis throws a fit, and then...
Grandpa Dragon
and then
doesn't eat Ryu. He was like sizing up to do it, and he doesn't eat him.
Yes. Apis throws a fit, and then Eric throws her. And so now Ryu gets upset, starts flying in midair. I'm like,
You know, if he wanted to get rid of Apis, all he should have done is just throw her in the water.
But I did find it kind of interesting that this is a problem that One Piece often has. How are two people that are like half a mile away talking to someone in casual conversation? This doesn't just happen here. It's the Commodore is like whispering something on his boat, and then Luffy gets upset and then goes to punch him. I was like, I think you missed something. Yeah. So Ryu activates Dragon Rage and starts flying up in midair, and I basically lean forward. I basically lean forward and I go, "Hey, maybe you should move." That's
Grandpa.
Not very
Grandpa
advantageous.
Dragon. No. Okay.
So we have this moment in which Commodore readies a Oh, before that, a cannonball is coming straight for the ship, and Luffy basically just catches it and throws it back, just destroying one of the ships.
Also, I got the whole vibe from Ryu that when he was talking to Apis, he was actually saying, "Kid, I'm old. I'm dying anyways. Leave me be."
The dragon...
I agree with your sentiment, by the way, in the next episode.
Episode 60... the dragon starts getting upset. It starts rumbling everywhere. The dragon yells up into the air in his dragon language, "It's time!" as all the millennial dragons start coming back to Warship Island. And Luffy uses this moment to grab onto one of the dragons, fly up into the air, extend his leg out really far, and does a battle axe to destroy the third building.
You forgot the harpoon catch he did. That was pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Spearing Ryu right in the face with a harpoon.
Yeah, that's probably what the catch was. It was they shoot the harpoon to grab the dragon, and he just like grabs it and throws it back like a javelin, and it's like, huh.
That was a pretty cool move, though.
Also, this counts as a building because he has lived on this ship for more than 20 years.
I counted it as well as two ship, like, is it two buildings, or is it...
This is the third building he has destroyed so far with
No, how many
Babylon.
actual buildings? Is this the only ship that
This is the only ship he actually destroys, so it's 3.
Okay, I need to change
Alright.
But I agree, it does count as a building because it is big enough to actually be a building, and it is and it has a housing unit as an actual naval flagship.
Yeah.
I would count it.
Here's the funny thing. Now that that's destroyed and Warship Island starts rising from the
dragons
depths.
are just circling
The
ahead
dragons
like
start
vultures.
circling and landing on it because, these dragons live for 1,000 live so long because they migrate from one massive island to another, and it takes about 1,000 years for them to make a complete circle.
And because as we find out, the millennial dragons aren't called the millennial dragons just because they live very long. It's because it takes 1,000 years for their island to rise from the depths of Rolea.
Yeah.
Which, really cool. A really cool thing that is completely wasted in this arc.
It really does feel like that this is almost One Piece doing a Atlantis story.
Yeah.
And
they do an Atlantis arc later on.
But it's really...
They even have the ship going on... Yeah.
But it is kind of interesting when you really think about it that this is basically it. They really did make this entire arc just for this island.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make a story, it kind of dragged.
Oh, it absolutely drags. But I also have that Grandpa Dragon's dying. Like,
yeah.
he died, in fact. And Apis gets upset, as you would expect her to get upset.
Also, but as he dies, one of the fossilized eggs that had been down there for 1,000 years wakes up and starts like...
as Ryu, and...
Yeah.
Which, I'm like, that's so sweet.
This island is a massive, the circle of life lives on type moment. And then it's like, oh look, the giant fat guy is still alive. Oh, I guess he actually died.
Yeah.
Because Eric comes out of nowhere.
I expected the dragons to beat him up and throw him back into the ocean.
Yeah, Eric shows up going, hey, there's still one episode left of this arc, I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, but, also we have a comment from Usopp, how that's just convenient, Luffy, that you can understand them, and I have written, no, Usopp, that's what we call foreshadowing.
Yeah, because throughout several of these episodes, Apis basically has a devil fruit in which he can whisper to animals. But then at the same time, Luffy can also do that without the use of a devil fruit.
Specifically with the dragons. He's never shown this with some of the other animals.
That it does kind of feel like that there are a lot of moments in the series in which an ability can just be replicated with the devil fruit. And
and we'll see that as time goes on, that things can just be magicked with the devil fruit. But also that Luffy's a bit special, even considering that he's a man made out of rubber now, and that he's a boy with a dream that just inspires others, that there's something actually up with Luffy in particular. There is something about Luffy that gives him power to do basically whatever he wants.
So Eric basically states his plan that he's going to harvest the Dragonite from the bones of these dragons, which Nami basically says, if you're looking at the statues or the eggs, they probably won't have that much in them if there even is any. And he goes, well, at least it's something. I will at least try to get something from this whole venture. And then actual combat happens, and it lasts for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Gum Gum Bell sunglasses break into Gum Gum Bazooka.
Yeah,
which is actually a pretty cool combo, because Luffy, that's a knockout, drag-out fight. Yeah. Luffy actually has to stretch some muscles for that fight, which I appreciate.
And you don't even mean that as a pun. He, actually has to, put up a good fight.
Well, he's a man who stretches with a rubber.
He gets scratched up a lot by the whirlwinds, but he takes him out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's set sail for the Grand Line, and it basically
goes...
That
is literally the transitions. What do I have in my notes? That, that it's... Oh, yeah. And Apis doesn't go with them because, as she says, I would only be a bird and cause problems for them. And I'm like, right you would, Apis.
Yeah,
right you would.
You tripped roughly around like 8 times over the course of the entire arc.
She destroyed an entire ship in her eagerness to get off of said ship. She killed at least 100 Marines when that ship went down.
Then after the break, we
get the meme shot where Luffy's on the maidenhead of the Mary, and the crew is around him, just like furious at him. I see that meme absolutely everywhere, and I'm like, that's where that's where that image is from. I'm like, I got images from this episode. I thought it was in Alabasta.
So we get to Reverse Mountain, in which it's explained by Nami that because the water goes straight into the red line, it smashes against the actual face of the rock, and the tide will then go straight down. Most likely to go to an underwater like cave or something that like flows between them, which is most likely
a hint about the all blue.
Yeah, who knows? Then again, the pillars that are surrounding the actual path that goes up
the Sea Kings
are marked with Sea Kings and fish.
I know. I'm glad I'm not the only one who saw that.
Which is like, hey Sanji, this place is probably your best chance to find it. So next time when you come all the way back around, maybe you can actually search that side of the mountain to see if the owl blue is in a little alcove inside the mountain.
Also, Sanji's report of love is that there's a big storm cloud ahead.
Yes. The storm cloud is, again, because it's a winter island and the weather is freaking out because of it.
Because this place is called Reverse Mountain. Because
the water goes up the hill.
It goes up the mountain, which is not like a joke or hyperbole. Physically, there are 4 streams that meet from the 4 seas, converge at the top of the mountain, and spill down into the Grand Line. And the currents are so turbulent because the sea is forcing itself into one channel and shooting up the mountain.
I get the feeling that we do not have all the information for this place, and we might actually get a little bit more information at the end of the series.
I think this is
because if they're going all the way back around, most likely they're gonna hit Reverse Mountain again and then find the secret of Reverse Mountain. Who knows?
Also, I think this is the lowest part of the red line that we see. Like, they pan out and you can physically see up at the top of the red line at this. Which is
the red line goes up
really
like
incredible.
half a mile.
It's more than that.
It's almost like they took the Alps and they just put that on the Prime Meridian.
Yeah.
Like, all the way, just like...
It's pretty cool. The red line is pretty awesome. And so the ship is going, and it's about to slam into the pillars of the canal. And Luffy jumps in front, gum balloons, and just the ship impacts him. Oh, and also something, as they are going into the riptide and as they're trying to move it to avoid the pillars, the rudder basically breaks like a twix
Well, the control
bar.
for the rudder, the actual rudder is at the bottom of the ship.
Yeah, but the actual joystick part breaks off like a Twix bar. It's just like there's a snap, and it's like I'm like.
But Luffy's last minute decision to basically just sacrifice himself to help the ship go up, sacrifice his stomach at least.
Mm-hmm. He'll regain his stomach again. Don't worry. He'll forget all about it.
He'll bounce back. And so they're like, "Yeah, this is great." And then Eric's on the ship, like, "Yes, it is." And it's like, How'd you even get here? It doesn't matter.
I'm like,
wait,
it's Eric.
Did you lose your glasses or something? If you keep mocking me, I'm gonna rip this ship apart. And then Ami goes, "Oh, look, some Dragonite. Where?" And she knocks him off the ship, and everyone goes,
I love that. And they're like,
and everyone basically just sighs and goes, Sure, why not? We're in the Grand Line. We can finally celebrate as they're going down the side of it. They restate their dreams because they're important, guys. And
I'm sure that this is
seeing that that's the end of the East Blue. Now we're in Alabasta.
It's also Mary's first flight.
Whatever.
She stays airborne for at least a second.
In retrospect, I probably would give like several of these episodes like silver, but
they're all bronze for me.
I will probably give most of these episodes silver, with one exception being episode 60 being a gold. With episode 56 being bronze, because they didn't do anything in the episode.
They're all bronze of differing levels for me.
I don't know.
Like, I would give it. So bored.
I would give it a silver because, like I mentioned, I basically saw it as if you were to foreshorten this to even 3 episodes, like if you wanted to condense down the story a lot, you could basically have a regular mini arc in One Piece. The problem is that the bad pacing kind of hurt it. And you could really tell that it's from inexperienced writers. It's not the actual content. It's probably more the direction.
Yeah. And I think we, like the two of us, are also so eager just to get to the Grand Line and to get to Alabasta. One of the things saving it for me is that I can't stay mad at baby dragons.
The baby dragons are
don't
really,
have it in me.
Yeah.
They're
so really adorable.
With their little puppy mouths and their little noses.
So restating, I give it a silver, you give it a bronze.
Yeah, bronze of differing heights. Baby dragons alone almost pushed that episode to silver for me. They're so cute.
That
and
one particular episode to silver?
Yes. Almost.
Again, I could see this actually being a good arc. The problem is if this was actually written by Oda, same plot line, same events, same everything, this would be a lot shortened down. Mm-hmm. And you could feel that. So I would basically say this could have been even an above average arc if it had better pacing. But it didn't, and so I have to give it kind of a low silver, but and you give it a high bronze.
High to mid bronze. It's not a stone. It's not offensive enough to be a stone.
I am like, did I jump the gun a little bit giving my stone to the Richie episode? And I'm like, no, this actually has like a good story behind it. Its pacing is just so boring.
Yeah, Richie was actually the only comical thing about that arc, and Alvita was the best thing about that arc. But do we want to talk about the East Blue season itself now that we're at the end? We have the 2 OVAs, you said. Do we have any movies to watch as well?
I believe that there is some.
Okay, well, we'll research them, and we'll at least have the 2 OVAs. But, so I just want to talk about this arc as a whole, because now that we're at the end of the East Blue, and we're going into Alabasta, let's talk about, High Blind, no spoilers.
No, we have to go back.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the East Blue.
How do you feel about the East Blue as a whole?
Oh, I loved it. Easily a gold. Even with all the
I'd give it a
filler,
silver.
even with all the missteps.
Here's the thing.
It's low gold for me, though.
It's high silver for me, low gold for you. I would say, yes, there are distinct moments of this, but there is a great moment in every arc. Mm-hmm. I will say, though, that if I don't have East Blue as my perfect middle ground, where everything could be either lower or higher, it would kind of feel kind of weird. This is the good average. It has some bad episodes. It has really good episodes. It has great moments. The problem of the entire series as a whole with One Piece is you rarely get moments in which you basically... some people really like anime because of how hyped they can get. The recent episodes of My Hero Academia have been like really amazing, and like people have been talking about them, in which it's like, man, I can't believe that they actually did that, and that's so cool. And then you kind of look at One Piece, that's I don't want to say mellow or melodramatic, but
Melodramatic
it's
is
just
the word I would use.
it's just neutral. It's not offensively bad, and the great parts stick out amazingly.
Here's what I
but
say.
it's what I would say is One Piece is literally the best middle ground series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not really bad, and at sometimes it's really good, but you're never gonna have moments. You're never gonna have as many moments in which you just basically sit there and go, yeah! Like, there's probably, like I said, with the platinum episodes, probably one, maybe even three per over arc. You never have episode after episode in which every single one of them can be platinum contenders, like what just happened with My Hero Academia. Like, and you could even say that about One Piece because in Alabasta I'm gonna have like 3 episodes in a row in which they all seem like they might be platinum, and I might even not give them to them.
Mm-hmm.
But
if that happens to me, none of them are gonna get platinum.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when I look at it as a whole, I see One Piece as this is the perfect anime. It's perfectly average. And that's not bad. It just means if things aren't as good as One Piece, that's a problem.
Which
if
is
they're
a
better than One Piece, they
Shonen
stick
Jump.
out really hard. I like
Shonen Jump kind of runs their business model on that too.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be the best, or else we won't run your
There's
publication.
a reason why One Piece is at the top. Why? Because
it's consistently good.
Consistently average, going all the way through with
but
really
it's
good moments.
averagely good.
But in the manga, at least, there was never boom, like dips into stones.
Like in Bleach or Toriko or in Naruto. There's a fair number of stones in Naruto, and I'll fight anybody.
When it comes
to
Toriko, it had 2 years. 2 years of nothing but bronze chapters, and it's like, it's like
I remember
so
that.
And then when it finally gets itself together, it's like, oh, the series actually became good again, and then it ends, and it's like, it ended exactly how I thought it was going to, with the giant guns in space. Okay, maybe not exactly that, but
itself basically.
It basically ended with a, hey, we can do more of the series, but
we should have ended like
we should have ended years ago, so I can actually like work on this.
Yeah. Here's what I say about my award. It's low. It's compared to especially the series itself, like One Piece. I would say you're right. It's a high silver. Compared to other anime though, and their beginning arcs, I would give it a gold. It's a standout. Yeah. But I would say if we are just grading One Piece on itself, I would agree it's a silver. But I'm saying that this is a terrific first arc.
Mm-hmm. Which is ironic because some of the silvers in this are better than some gold episodes in even Naruto, which I would say Naruto to me is in some ways a better series, but it's definitely not as good as One Piece. It's not as consistently good.
Oh yeah, there are some good moments.
Here's the thing. I like the anime version of Naruto a lot better than the manga.
I will agree.
And that's because there's something distinct about how Naruto is in motion. Mm-hmm. Just like how
it's supposed
Attack
to be
on Titan looks better in motion. How
One Punch Man.
But My Hero Academia is fine as a manga. It's even better as an anime.
When you can put like music and Chris Sabat's voice into it.
Can you grab me the tissue down there? Because when you really think about it as a whole, like, it really does feel like that if any series would take the throne that One Piece is currently at, it would be My Hero Academia. And it's not because it's well written, it's because it's well paced.
Comes like bursting shooting out of the water and just takes Shonen Jump by storm.
100 within 100 chapters of within 100 chapters of One Piece. Mm-hmm. How far did they go? They collected all of these teammates. Luffy collected all of these teammates, went on great adventures, had great arc with them, with chapter 100 being a monumental moment of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're basically sitting there going, yeah, that was pretty good. What happened in 100 episodes of My Hero Academia? Generally the same thing. He basically met all of his teammates, and
saved
then
the world.
He went through all these things,
Well,
and then out of nowhere,
world.
what seems like a character that would be the final villain of the series shows up
and is not
takes on
by
the Superman of that world, destroys him in his career, but not killing him, and then they lock him away. And then there's a moment in which he contemplates about this, and then he goes, well, I can't keep using my power the same way as I've been using before, so I'm gonna switch up my style. Chapter 100 ends with him showing off his new power. Or maybe it was chapter 101 where it's like, this is a new 100 chapters that we're gonna keep going on with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, if you were to condense down all of what made Naruto great into a series, you would literally have My Hero Academia. The problem when you kind of word it like that is modern anime have started getting a lot more better pacing.
Quick.
Yeah.
Quick on the sound, quick on the fluidity, quick on the animation, quick on the cells, quick on publications.
Because people watching My Hero Academia, they hear, oh, there's going to be a training camp arc.
And they start to roll
and they start thinking
eyes,
about it, going,
and they're like,
okay, we're going to be doing this.
There's probably going to be a bathhouse scene in there too.
Which there was.
And there was.
But the
showed
thing was,
everything.
People going into that not knowing what was going to happen, they did not know within
that was
10
fun.
That within 10 episodes, not only would that training arc be over, the new final boss shows up, and now All Might is in the fight of his life in which his powers are running out and he might lose. Like, they thought they would still be in the training arc, maybe done with it by now. Like, but when you look at
and then it would be a new arc.
What is good about modern anime is it has great pacing. What is great about One Piece is that its pacing is perfect. It's not too fast, it is not too slow. The problem,
is One Piece perfect.
To go to the opposite side, Black Clover is too fast. Like, it would it goes,
too slow.
Hey, here's everything, done. What? Shouldn't we have stayed on that a little bit longer? Nah, we need to get to the next part. It's like, you're not sitting around and actually, like, looking at your world. There isn't any sort of world building in the entire series.
And also
besides, magic is important to us because everyone has some type of magic, except for you, main character. You get a sword that negates magic. Cool. I must be the most broken character ever, and I must be the most awesome now.
And also, they don't let you breathe in that series. There's no breathing room. In One Piece, there's room to breathe, even as they're throwing story information at you, because it's kind of like slipping things like underneath plates and a restaurant, like notes to the audience. Like, because we were talking about Usopp's glasses that apparently come from the North Blue.
And tiny little things like that, in which you then later see North Blue technology, and it shares similar aspects to it. Those goggles are on the
back end of that tech in that world, and those goggles.
Yeah, no, but it still shares the same sort of properties and look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Oda,
it looks like something out of Dragon Ball Z.
Might not be the best artist, but he is the best writer.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to this
sort of thing. Which is why I love One Piece.
Oda has a very, I don't want to say childish, but very simplistic art style when it comes to a lot of certain situations. Sure, he can be a great artist when it comes down to it, but overall, he's a much better writer than he is an artist. And
it's not knocking his art, because his art gets pretty good. His art is about to get pretty good, actually.
Either way, I think we should probably just wrap it up there. Do you have any final thoughts on East Blue as an entire arc?
I loved it. I loved the East Blue arc. I think that if we're looking at East Blue arc in a vacuum, even with the filler, even with the Buggy filler, even with the Apis Combelt Doldrums filler, it's still a good arc.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would sit through buggy filler and I would sit through Apis level filler if we could have moments like Arlong Park. If we could have moments where Sanji thanks Seth. If we could have moments where Zoro's in the dojo. Because if this series continues on those kind of notes, and it will, then it's going to be awesome. But also, any hopes you have for Alabasta? Not spoiling it, because we all know what's going to happen in Alabasta.
We know that he's going to pick up some new teammates because he needs to, because clearly his ship is not done yet. As he has actually stated several times within East Blue.
He needs a
But the teammates he's going to pick up
not a musician
are going to be desperately needed in that moment of the ship.
In fact, they're crucially vital for the flow of this story. In fact, one of them took this series from a 5-year manga to a 20-year manga. That's how important she is to this arc and to the series as a whole. It's gonna get awesome. Anything else?
That character that you brought up, I don't view her as showing up during Alabasta. I consider her to be the new teammate that showed up during Skypiea. Because she didn't actually do anything for the crew until Skypiea.
Oh yeah, but I'd say so.
Which basically means that one new character each over arc.
So are we going to talk about her during Skypiea then?
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
Well, we should probably talk about her when she actually appears on the ship and says, I guess I'm a crew member now. And everyone goes, yeah.
Are we going to talk about Robo Disco Man after Ines Lobby is done then?
Yeah.
Okay.
We will
Robo
talk about
Disco
someone.
Man.
We'll talk about someone's piece of the crew when they fully join.
Okay.
Like, until then, they're basically just a character in the world that can just be left behind.
Are we going to talk about,
Yes.
So, are we going to talk about her
We're going to be talking about her probably after the entire overarch.
Okay. Once they set sail with the X's.
Because she is kind of the main important
She almost was a crewmate, in fact.
Yeah, but the only reason is that she did not have a reason to stay on the ship.
No, she had a reason for friends, but she had a bigger reason to stay. And I think the series is better as a whole for her staying.
Either way, goodbye everyone. We're going to be probably back next week, hopefully, with either the movie slash OVAs as like a quick recap of it, or the beginning of Alabasta, depending.
Bye!